Black Phone 2 is the newest Blumhouse movie. It brings the grabber back from beyond the grave to get revenge against Finny and his sister Gwen for what they did to him in the first movie. Now in the spoiler-free review, I'm going to tell you everything that I liked, everything that I didn't like, and how it stacks up to the original in my opinion. And if you're watching this video and you've seen both of these movies, make sure you drop in the comments which one you preferred, the Black Phone or Black Phone 2, because these movies are very different. Black Phone 2 picks up years after the Black Phone. It deals with Finny trying to deal with his trauma of being captured at such a young age from the grabber. But in a weird twist, the movie kind of moves towards Gwen as the main character. She's having these dreams of these kids being murdered at this camp, so she tells Finny, so her, Finny, and her kinda sorta new boyfriend go to the camp to see what's going on, but little do they know, the grabber is somehow waiting for them there from beyond the grave. Now if you've seen the trailer to this movie, you know that this is a tonally different movie where it goes from this very realistic type of thing where there's this child abductor and the grabber to now the grabber is essentially Freddy Krueger. He's haunting Gwen in her dreams and he's able to hurt her in her dreams, which to me makes it a little bit more scary. As weird as that is, the first movie, I didn't find the grabber or what was happening that scary. I mean, the concept is scary, of course, but what was going on and just the movie itself didn't really work for me. So going into this review, the first movie, I wasn't that big of a fan of, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, when I saw the trailer to this and I thought, okay, we're getting a Nightmare on Elm Street, but with the grabber, I was really intrigued by it. Now, I didn't by any means hate the first movie, but this one just seemed a little bit more up my alley and I felt like it had a little bit more potential to be something that I wanted. And let's go and start right there with the grabber, Ethan Hawke. I feel like this performance in the Black Phone 2 compared to the first movie felt like a natural progression where he is an evil person in the first one. He's very sinister, he has all these things, right? This movie, he's just straight up evil, and I feel like it's because he mentions that over and over in the movie of how evil he is. He's been to hell, he's back, and the only bits of him that are there are his sins. And it's just, the visuals plus the acting plus the dialogue really dial into this guy being a very scary individual, and I really did believe what he was selling. Now, as far as the grabber being scary compared to the first movie, like I said before, didn't really scare me in this one. In this one, especially in the first half of the movie, the creepy factor, dial that thing up to 10 because he nailed it. It was very interesting how he could go into the shadows and out of the shadows and the things that he can do and just how you can see a little bit behind the mask of what's behind there because it doesn't look like skin, it looks like something's messed up behind there. So there's this mystery and there's this creepy factor and the things and the way that he delivers his lines and the things that he says to Finny, to Gwen. I loved it. I loved what the grabber was bringing, especially in the first half of the movie. We'll get to the back half a little bit later, but I did like what they were doing with the grabber in this movie a lot more than in the first one. Next up, we have Mason Thames as Finny. He is back, and it's just really cool to see his character grow from where he started at in the very first movie, because if someone goes through what he went through in the first movie, he's not going to come out the other side the same kid. And you do see that he chose a certain path to deal with what he went through, and it's pretty believable in my opinion. Everyone's gonna deal with their stuff differently. This one just seems pretty darn believable. And then you have Madeline McGraw as Gwen, and I cannot say enough good things. If you could take anything from this video and any recommendations to see this movie, it's gonna be for her performance alone. I loved everything that everyone brought in this, of course. She knocked it out of the park. Whether it's the emotions of, you know, the fear of the lead up to the grabber or the mystery when she's in her dreams and these creepy images. And like I said, she sells the fear, but then when she gets to the grabber and he's attacking her or anything like that, she brings the intensity of pain. And then also the emotional side of the trauma that she deals with Finny, with her dad, of not just what happened to them in the first movie, but what happened to their mother in the past. And it just feels so real and raw, and everything that she brought. Once again, she's the lead in the movie and she rightfully deserves it, and she should get a lot more lead roles. Not necessarily in horror, but I feel like she showed in this movie that she has range, and so I'd love to see what she has next coming up because damn, she was awesome. Now, if you don't know who directed this movie, it's Scott Derrickson. He did the first Black Phone, but another movie that he did prior to that was Sinister. And if you've seen Sinister, you know the home movie, grainy, you know, Super 8 looking film in that movie. That is brought over into this one a lot more than it was in the first Black Phone with Gwen's dreams. You are in those dreams a lot. And just the grainy feel to it, goes so far. Even if nothing ever happened, which things do happen in those dreams, even if nothing happened, you're still filled with this sense of dread, of this fear. You know, you can't help it but feel a little uneasy watching this. And then the things happen, and the things that happen in the dreams are kind of varied. Sometimes they're pretty brutal, sometimes they're not. Mostly when it happens to Gwen, that gets a little bit brutal. And once again, she is selling it. And when you have her acting and her fear on the screen, then you have Ethan Hawke saying and acting the creepiest acting I think I've ever seen him do. It really just helps that whole sequence as a whole. And I just think that that was one of the strengths of this movie. Hands down, the dream sequences, and you get a good amount of them. You actually get a lot of them. They really just help the movie flow. And if you are a fan of horror over the story, this is gonna be a great part for you. And like I said before, there's a lot of them. Now, one thing that I keep saying in this review is the first half. The first half. I love the first half, okay? The back half felt a little bit disjointed, a little bit rushed in my opinion. There's a certain point in the movie where everything is coming together, you're learning what's happening, and I just feel like when you start to learn how the grabber's back, what's going on, how is everything connected, it starts to lose the mystery of what's going on. And once that mystery is kind of solved to the audience and told to us, there's not much left for the movie to do. And you really do feel that in the execution, because once you figure it all out and they tell you, the movie kind of just ends. There's a big battle, of course, but when it was happening halfway through and I kind of saw and started connecting the lines, I'm like, oh, it's over? Like this is the big finale. Oh, okay, it's here. And it just felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. And when it came out of nowhere and it ended so fast, I was like, okay, well, I guess that payoff wasn't really there. Now, it's not a bad ending at all. That's not what I'm saying here. I just feel like it ended a little bit too abruptly, and it left me feeling like I wanted more out of this story when the story was building up to that point was so good. And another thing that this movie does that I felt like was a little bit lackluster, and once again, not going into any spoilers, but what the grabber was able to do in the dreams. I just wish that there were more. And if you've seen the movie, you kind of caught on to what I'm talking about, where he definitely brings the Freddy Krueger vibes to this, where he's, toying with his victims. But other than that, I think they could have done more. And maybe they had more, because I mean, come on, this is the director that did the first one, did Sinister. He knows how to push things. But this one, I felt like they kind of held back on what they wanted to do with the grabber. Because the grabber, once again, he tells you how evil he is. You know how evil he is. And the things that he does, I just feel like there was a lot more left in the tank that they could have done with him. So Black Phone 2 was a much more enjoyable movie for me than the first one for whatever reason. And I know people love the first one, and I completely understand why. It just never clicked with me. This one clicked with me a lot more, whether it's the creepy vibes of the grabber and how evil he actually is, whether it's the more use of the dream sequences and really making me feel that fear, or it's the acting across the board, whether it's Finny, Gwen, or the grabber. They all knocked it out of the park, especially Gwen. But I just think that this movie had a lot more to do, and at the end of the day, I still feel like this movie has no reason for being. I really do. The first movie is such a self-contained story where it works as a start and an end to this. This one, I'm glad it's here, because once again, I did enjoy the movie. I just feel like it wasn't necessary. And if they make another one after this, it's gonna be that same situation of, I don't know where they're gonna go from here, or if they should go from here, because this is another very self-contained story with a beginning and a very good end. And if you're kind of like me and just didn't really vibe with the first one, you might want to give this one a try, because yes, it feels like the first one, but where they go and what they do with this is completely different. And if you're planning to go see Black Phone 2 and need a recap of what happens in the Black Phone, check out this video right here. I made a recap all about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.